Hello, Keith. Hey, Stephen. Can you guys hear me?
Hear you just fine, Fawn. How are you?
Hello, hello.
Hey, I'm good, thanks. How are you?
Fantastic.
Good, good, good. So, should we kick this off?
Let's do it.
Okay, so hey everyone, welcome to the Nexus Hackathon Technical Bounty Workshop. I'm Fawn, Head of Community at LUKSO, and I'm super excited to be here with all of you today. Whether you've already got a head start on your project or you're still exploring what to build, this session is designed to keep you and help you really understand the kind of core tech that we're offering and how it fits into the bigger picture of this bounty challenge. So in this workshop, you'll find a great overview of the core building blocks you'll need to get started. And we've also compiled a comprehensive Notion resource page to help you keep deep diver and move fast. So Annalisa will throw up the Notion resource page, so you guys will be able to access that. That's got everything that you need so far, but we'll just dive straight into it. So before we actually dive into the kind of demos and the technical stuff, I want to take a few minutes just to set the stage, really. You know, what is this bounty actually about? What are we looking for? And most importantly, like, why does it matter? So in short, this bounty is about building socially intelligent mini dApps on the LUKSO blockchain. Apps that treat identity and interaction as first-class features, not afterthoughts. So we want you to explore how digital identity, social expression, and ownership can work together in a new, decentralized way. And that could mean anything from kind of profile-based social games to collectible-driven fan experiences, to tools that empower creators or communities to express themselves on chain. So the core requirement is that your project uses universal profiles. And this is our smart contract-based identity standard that leverages at least one or more of the LSPs. So LUKSO standard proposals, that's what LSP means, to make something come alive for users. So what I would do as well is I would double check these acceptance criterias, just to make sure that you know exactly what we're looking for when we're looking and judging your mini dApp and your submissions. So if you're new to LUKSO, here's a mini TLDR. We're a layer 1 EVM, but instead of focusing only on DeFi, our mission is to empower the creative economy. And that includes creators, communities, curators, collectors, and really anyone that just wants to build impressive, expressive, social, ownership-driven digital experiences. And what makes LUKSO special is that we've built in identity and ownership at the protocol level. So it's not just some extra dApp feature, right? With universal profiles, your users can have a blockchain-based profile that stores metadata, assets, social connections, collectibles, and more, all on chain, all portable, and all composable. So let's talk quickly about the bounty specifics. So this track is all about getting creative with universal profiles. So we're not here to judge you on complex code or how many smart contracts you deploy. What we really care about is how you use the LUKSO stack to enable identity and social interaction and digital expression. So, I mean, really just look at LUKSO being like your playground, right? We want to give you the freedom to experiment with new ways that people can express themselves and really connect online. So take risks, get weird, build something that's super memorable that all of the judges will remember. And remember that we're here to help you every step of the way. One other cool thing I want to mention about this bounty as well is that you're not just competing for the $3,000 in prize money, but actually the top 3 winners will automatically qualify for $24,000 worth in community grants. And that's going to be happening in April, right after this challenge wraps up. So that means that you can secure even more funding on top of your prize through a quadratic funding round on Gitcoin. So this challenge isn't just about winning, it's almost like a launch pad to build your mini dApp, grow a community around it, and start proving that you actually got product market fit. So enough yapping. Let's get on to the good stuff. Stephen is very kindly going to walk you through the tech, all from a kind of user perspective, so that you get a good sense of how these pieces come together in a real experience. So, Stephen, over to you.
All right. Hi, everybody. Great to be presenting to you, and I'm very excited to show you a little bit about what we've been working on. So as Fawn mentioned, yeah, we have a very different type of use case than a lot of other Web3 projects out there, and that's because we're focusing on the social side. We do have NFTs and tokens that are in our ecosystem, but we think that blockchain can be a lot more than that. And so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a bit about what we've been working on. We build a lot of what I like to call primitives. So we build the building blocks, and then basically what developers can do is you can use these building blocks to build something really amazing. And so I think what I'll do, instead of talking about it, I'm just going to dive right in and show you what we're building so you can see it for yourself. And then I can talk a little bit at the end about some of the why behind it. All right, so the very entry point that you would want to come to is this website right here called universaleverything.io. And here you can see right in the middle, there's a big search bar. And so here, what you can do is you can actually search for profiles, what we call profiles. So I'm going to load up one profile. And so you can see this is a profile here. We call it Universal Profile. And this is actually an Ethereum account. So you can see there's an Ethereum address right here. I can actually click on it, and that's the Ethereum address. But you can see it's a little bit different than your normal Ethereum address. Like if I go to MetaMask, basically the only thing that I'll be able to see is the address and maybe some tokens or NFTs that are attached to that address. Here, you get a whole profile. So you can see that this person, this is my boss, Fabian Vogelstelle. He's the guy who started this whole project. You can see he's got a profile picture and a background picture. He's got a description. He's got his X link. He's got some other links. He's got some tags. There's also this follow button here. And then he's got what we call a grid. And I'll get into all of this. But basically, the idea is that attached to an Ethereum account, you can actually hook up all sorts of things that describe the account. And I'm not going to get into any of the technical parts. I want to show you more from a user perspective. And then a little bit later, there are going to be some descriptions about how to do the actual technical side of this. But the thing that you should know right here is we have the ability to actually attach metadata to an Ethereum account, and that's what makes all of these things possible. All right, so what you can see here is, we've got a whole follower system. We've got the metadata that I showed you before with the different pictures and the description. And then you can see here, we have this thing that we actually just released very recently called the grid. And you can see that Fabian's got all sorts of things that he is showing off on his profile. So he's got some text. He's got text in a lot of different formats. Here's a YouTube video. There's a graphic, another graphic. And here it gets really interesting. This is actually a Web3 app, what we call a mini app, built in to his profile. So this is actually a Web3 application built into it. And then down here, he's got some NFTs, some what we call collectibles. This is another app right here. This is like a graffiti type of app. And then there's some documentation. So you can see there's a mix. We think this is like a pretty cool idea because it's basically a mix of Web 2 and Web 3 elements all together. And he's got a few different categories. So if you click on here, there is, these are some of his X posts that he's posted recently. Yeah. All right, and here's another profile. Okay, this is Alt Anonymous here. And you can see here he's got some, these are actually some NFTs that he's created himself. So he's the, this is under the creation category. He's got a lot more categories here. And you can see this is what he's got on his grid. So again, it's a collection of Web 2 and Web 3 elements. All right, so now let me show you a little bit about how we can interact with this. So I forgot to introduce what my role is at LUKSO. So I'm the team leads of what we call the apps, which is we have a browser extension and we have a mobile app. And our browser extension is a little bit different than what most other browser extensions that you see in the Web3 world. So if you open our browser extension, you're going to notice it looks very different than most other extensions. And that's because we're profile centric. We're not finance centric. Like I said before, we do have the finance part of it. But the very first thing that you see when you load our browser extension is a profile picture. And here, this is my account right here, ASCII-Man. And you can see I've got my profile picture and some other things there. And I actually have the ability to edit this. And if I were to edit it, it actually appears on chain, any edits that I make to this. And then you see some things like the activity, like this is something that you see in any wallet, but you can see that this applies to universal profiles. And then we've got, I won't get into this at the moment, but maybe I'll get into it a little bit later. So basically, this is my controller for the entire Web3 experience. And what I can do is I can actually log in to this website. Okay, and it's going to connect. This is a very similar experience, when you connect MetaMask to, a DeFi dApp. So I'm going to select my account, my profile, and now you see that I'm connected here. And what I can actually do now that I'm connected is I can go into one of these mini apps that he's got here, like he's got a donate app, for example, and I can click the button and the mini app is actually connected now to my extension. So the extension provides a provider, and whenever I click that button, the mini app can now read my profile information. And this is just a very simple one. Like, if I want to send one of our native tokens to alts, I can basically just click on this button and it's going to start a transaction. And then I can confirm or I can cancel that. So I'm going to cancel that right there. All right, so that is a little bit about universal profiles. I also do want to show you that, we've got, like I said before, we do have NFTs and tokens. So you can see here, this is where we list those as well. And I will say that we use a different standard than ERC20 or ERC721 for our tokens and NFTs. We have an upgrade. So we call them LSP7 and LSP8. I'm not going to get super into that, but there are a lot of things that those standards can do that ERC20 and ERC721 can't do. Okay, so now if you want to create your own profile, how do you do it? Okay, well, the first thing you do is you get the browser extension, and you can go to the Chrome Web Store and do Universal Profiles. And then you add that to your browser. And then this is saying that you can pin the extension. So we're going to do that. And there's a very simple onboarding to do. You have to set a password. Okay, so I'm going to actually change to our testnet because I don't want to create a mainnet profile at the moment. You don't have to worry about this part. Actually, this is kind of interesting. If you're building, we do have a testnet. So that's the better place to build while you're building. Okay, so now I'm on testnet, and if I want to create my own profile, you can see here, now that I've started the extension, I can just click this big button, create new universal profile. And it asks you for an account. We don't collect any personal information, but basically this is to make sure that you're not a bot. So I'm just going to use my Google account to connect here. All right, and then I can pick my username. So I'm going to type Steven. And then I'm going to add my profile picture. In a background. And then I'm going to choose my profile address. And let's see, I'm going to pick an interesting one. Let's see if I can get a good one. Okay, I think this is a pretty good one. So I'm going to go with that. All right, and then I click got it, create my profile. And now what it's doing is it's actually creating an on-chain account, and then it's going to attach the metadata that I just set to that account. Okay, so this is confirming that I want to import my new account into my extension. Then it's going to have me log in. And then this is the transaction that is going to add the metadata. Now you're going to notice something super interesting here. Did you notice that I didn't have to deal with gas at all? That's because we have a standard called gas relayer, and basically this handles all the gas on your behalf so that you don't have to handle it. And basically every month I get a quota of gas that I can use. So you can see that we really try to make the onboarding experience really, really simple. I mean, if you were brand new to crypto or to blockchain, you probably know very well that it's a long process to be able to actually start using MetaMask. There are a lot of things that you have to learn about at the beginning, but a normal person can start using our technology basically right away. All right, so the transaction is done. It gives me the option to add a recovery method if I want, which is also a very simple process. But if I open my extension now, you can see that I have my very first profile created. And that's how you get started. So I think I'm going to leave it there, and I'm going to hand it back to Fawn.
Thanks, Stephen. That was a great look at how everything kind of connects from the top down. So next up, we've got Craig. He's our DevRel lead and one of the key people that is going to be supporting all of you through the Buildathon. So he's here to explain to you how you can kind of get some help, who to reach out to, and what resources are available. He'll also be following up with a workshop that he'll be hosting that kind of dives a little bit deeper into the technical implementation side. So definitely keep an eye out for that. So Craig, over to you.
Thanks, Fawn. Appreciate that. Stephen, good job showing off what we have there with Universal Profiles. Hello, everyone. My name's Craig. I'm the DevRel lead over at Universal Everything. Unfortunately, our other DevRel, Mustafa, could not make it today. There's some issues going on in Turkey, in case you didn't know. Scrolling along the bottom there are contact points. We're just trying to create surface area for you to kind of hook into us. So while you're exploring our standard set and hopefully competing for these bounties, if you have questions, you can reach out to a friendly face, someone who can give you an answer or find the answer for you if it's something that is, exotic. Those things pop up from time to time. There's also a channel, which you'll see in the resources in the LUKSO Discord, where you can go and ask questions about all of our bounties. So again, my name's Craig. I'm the DevRel lead over at Universal Everything. What you're seeing on the screen here, I just wanted to point you to our documentation page. That's at docs.luxo.tech. Everything that Stephen was just talking to you about, you can learn more about in the standards from an implementation standpoint. And what Stephen really went over the top of really, really quickly was this idea of metadata. Now, for traditional EVMs, EOAs are essentially just key value pairs that store a balance, which represent your funds, and a nonce, which is like a counter to ensure the transaction order and just prevent replay attacks. These things are designed to be lean. They handle only the essentials for executing transactions. And with that comes really limited functionality. The inherent simplicity in an EOA means they kind of lack the capabilities that Stephen just demonstrated with our smart contract based account, which sits at the foundation of our ecosystem. So an EOA, as you know, literally is just a hexadecimal number. For us, our smart contract based universal profile is going to allow you to store really descriptive data or metadata. And like Stephen showed you, that can be a username, can be a profile image, can be other contextual attributes that really build out your identity on chain. Basically what I'm saying is EOAs are kind of flat, right? It's a very flat interaction. It makes it kind of like a faceless blockchain. With LUKSO, we're adding texture. The ERC 725 standard, which is pioneered by Fabian. Again, Stephen he's our boss, but he also is the founder of that standard. And if you didn't know, he was also behind the ERC 20, which kind of sits as the foundation of, let's say, token-centric blockchain. We like to say LUKSO is profile-centric blockchain, where the people matter, where really the accounts matter, because the account could represent more than a person. With a 725 account, we introduce a standardized interface for these contracts, allowing accounts to evolve beyond the kind of minimalistic structure of the EOA. So it's really transforming the account into, again, a richer digital identity, enabling the inclusion of this detailed metadata. The ERC 725 permits the storage of those additional key value pairs, and it effectively attaches anything you want to track about this account, this identity, this address, this brand. It's really a blank line. You choose what you want to represent by this profile. And this metadata can encompass social profiles, granular permissions through our LSP6 key manager standard, creative credentials that could come up around that, and other descriptive attributes that add depth and context to the interaction. So again, I'm coming back really quickly behind Stephen. Stephen gave you the high level. I'm giving you a little bit deeper level here, but Mustafa and I are going to come with actually some implementations of the code base while you're building mini apps, but that'll come in a following workshop, a fast follow workshop, because again, Mustafa couldn't be here today. What I want to show you, because I have the time, is I'm going to show you my account as well. So this is actually my profile. You'll see that my handle is Ethelorian. Everything that Stephen just had there, you can see on mine as well. This is a standardized interface. You can see that I'm logged in under my profile up here. I can manage my multiple profiles if I have them. Again, here's my avatar. Here's my background image. These are metadata tags. I have a description. I have links out to my GitHub and socials. I have links to a podcast. I have followers attached to my account. All of this stuff is represented via standardized implementations, which again, you can read about in our documentations. LSP 26 is our follower standard. This actually connects the accounts in a simple registry at the account. So if you build a social media, or you're interacting on a social media on LUKSO, your social graph is not limited or siloed to that application. Your social graph actually exists independent of any application that's being built. So if you come up with a really good idea for an application, you're going to have the opportunity to tap into every user and their social graph just at the standard level, again, foundational level of our network. I wanted to bring this up. I wanted to show you this simple application right here is a mini app. Stephen kind of described a mini app. You can see I have a couple connected at the bottom. The green shows you that I'm connected in these iframes to the extension through the up provider. Here, this is actually an app called Roasted. It's a simple app. But again, I want to show you the playfulness of what a mini app can look like in the LUKSO ecosystem. So you're looking at the dashboard screen for me. What I actually did is I set an amount in Roasted. It costs one of our native tokens, Lux, to roast me. So you can see that there's some money up here because people have spent some money to go ahead and kind of, I guess, roast me, which means they use this application to write some funny stuff about me. So when I look down here, I can actually view the roast. Well, let's see, Ethelorian roasted Alts. Here's my buddy Alts. You saw his profile before. I said, Alts, where's the bowler hat, bro? Did that NPC version of you take it for a stroll in the digital world? Time to reclaim your vitriol fashion statement. This is just from the other day. It doesn't even have to be funny to you, but what I'm showing you is that there can be a playful element to these mini apps, because what the beauty of these standards is, again, you are connected to all other universal profiles in the network. And through the up provider, when you look at my screen, you're looking at my dashboard because I'm logged into Roasted. But through the up provider, you can actually tell, are you underneath the profile that you own, or are you connected to someone else's profile? You can see I'm logged in under Ethelorian in the top right-hand corner, but I'm on Alts's page. So when I go down to Alts's grid app for Roasted, which is right here, and I log into Roasted, I'm going to get a completely different view. I'm not going to see my admin dash panel. Instead, I'm going to get the opportunity to roast Alts. And this is just a simple wrapper of a basic, you could call them, I guess, a Web 2 application, where this is integrated with Grok. And I can give it some context like, hey, buddy, I love making fun of you. Sorry, I'm reaching around my microphone here. And then I'll use Grok to just generate the general roast here. Hey, Alts, your X feed is like a clown car full of hilarious Alts, but it's Jesus. I don't know if that's good or bad, but I can finish roasting really quick here. And again, when I send this roast off, this is going to go to Alts. Oh, I'm not connected all the way through, so I won't follow it all the way through here because I feel like Alts doesn't need that spammy roast on his roast board. But what you're getting there is the idea, again, that these mini apps don't have to be earth-shattering implementations. What these mini apps are meant to be is social. They're meant to connect the user base. And then depending upon your creativity as a developer, you can layer in complexity as you understand our standard sets better. Where are you going to learn these standard sets? Well, now we're back to docs.luxo.tech, where you can start on the learn page if you want to get a quick overview of our ecosystem. If you're like, I get it, I don't need to learn much more here, man, just show me the code. Then you can dig into the standards or contracts. There's some, if you're so enthralled, like you are, like, wow, I love data, then check out right away the LSP2, which is literally defining how we are going to attach metadata to a profile, and then how are we going to read that metadata back. And ERC725.js is a library that exists out there just for that purpose, to encode and decode data from the ERC725 smart contract account standard. So all of this exists here. Like I said before, Annalisa, if you could flash on the bottom there, I'll take down my screen now. But if you could flash on the bottom, the banner there that has my socials, please reach out inside of the Nexus Telegram. I'm there just at Ethelorian. If you want to email me, go ahead. If you want to DM me, you can do that as well. I'm the person to hook into. Let's build a relationship. If you've got questions, I've got answers. If you need inspiration, I'll chat your ear off for a little bit. This is a friendly place to be, and we really want you in this ecosystem. So again, thank you for spending a little bit of time with us today. And Mustafa and I will come back with a fast follow when Mustafa's situation clears up a little bit where he's living, and we'll come back with some actual code implementations for you. So maybe we can get you over the hump if you're missing, just a little bit of details to get your application working, or, just a general Q&A. So again, thanks so much for your time today. Really appreciate you. I think this is a fantastic initiative, and kudos to Nexus, and then as well, Fawn, thank you with Fancy for putting this together.
No worries. Thanks for that, Craig. That grid demo was great. I want everyone to go and roast Craig. Everyone needs to go to his profile right now and go and roast this man. All right. Before we close out, I just want to give a few final reminders and double down on those resources just to make sure that you're all kind of set up for success. So firstly, you heard the man earlier. If you remember one link from today, make it docs.luxo.tech. That is going to be your go-to hub for everything LUKSO from the dev side. So if you're building on LUKSO, that should be open in your tabs at all times, basically. Second, like Craig said, support is literally just a message away. The N3XUS Telegram is your home base for the entire hackathon. So, you know, if you hit a blocker or have any questions or just want to share progress with us, hop into the LUKSO channel, tag one of us, myself, Craig, anyone from the team. We're all here to help you move forward, troubleshoot, and brainstorm with you. If you're interested in going deeper into the tech stack, you know, the stuff that actually like lives under the hood, Craig is going to be hosting another follow-up workshop with Mustafa very soon. This one will get a bit more kind of hands-on with the actual code, the contracts, the tools that you'll be using. So definitely keep an eye out on that. We'll announce that all over our Twitter and in the Telegrams and stuff like that. And that will be a great opportunity for you guys to like level up your understanding and ask a few more kind of technical questions live to us as well. But yeah, want to shout out Stephen and Craig for your walkthroughs. Those demos give such a clear view of how Universal Profiles and LSPs kind of work together from a user's perspective. So yeah, big thanks for that. And most importantly, thank you all for being here. We're like really excited to see what you all create, you know, whether you're building something experimental or expressive or even just something that you're curious about. Like, we hope this bounty gives you a chance to really play with what's possible when it comes to kind of identity and ownership and social interaction and how all of these things come together on chain. One other thing that I did want to mention really quickly was that we have a marketing bounty that is officially open today as well. So if you're more on the kind of creative side, this one's for you. And we're inviting you to kind of craft content that tells the story of LUKSO, from like visuals and threads to videos. All the details about that are live now on, you know, all of the channels and the N3XUS website. So go check it out if that's more your vibe, you're less technical and you're more all about marketing experiences. Maybe this might be the one for you. But otherwise, that's all from us. Stephen, Craig, any last words?
Looking forward to seeing what you guys build.
That agreed. Looking forward to seeing what you guys build. And I'm realizing I might have glossed over the top of this. All of that stuff that came in that Stephen was showing you, or that I showed you just on my profile, that is all retrievable by any one of you. You can grab that information from every single Universal profile and represent it in a unique way if you want, because all of that data, that texture, lives actually retrievable on chain. I had to get in the last.
Absolutely, great point. No, thank you so much. But yeah, that's it from us. Good luck, have fun, and we'll see you in the next one. Thanks, guys.